with coffee. Sorry. None of that went out. Sorry. Hi, welcome to Geeks on Screen with Coffee. It's the 1st of December. And what time is it, Mickey?
It's 7:16.
And welcome to today's guest. It's Ben. Ben Kettner. Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah, sorry.
Hi.
I wanted to make but how would you pronounce that in German?
Kettner.
Okay.
Just
make sure I got that right. So there we go. We're now in full size. We're ready to chat. Okay. What I might do is do a quick tweet.
To inform everyone that you're beaming us out now.
We're beaming on the YouTubes. It doesn't make a good TV or good whatever this is. I'm not really sure what to call this. Is it TV? Is it not TV?
I'm sure there's some modern word for it that I don't know. I've only started learning what Twitch is, so I think I might be the wrong person to ask.
I just put, and I'm awful at the marketing nonsense. So what should also happen is people should be able to go to the YouTube channel and then we appear at the top. Yeah, okay. People can click on that now. Right, hey, okay. Apart from now it's appeared twice. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. Hey, Ben. All right.
Yeah.
So we got to do all the normal stuff.
Yeah.
So there's your right. And with my new improved graphics budget.
Hey.
Now, I've got some new letters.
Yeah, great. They're shiny.
Well, and some of them, I don't know, has it come to? Yeah, no. When this goes out,
green.
yeah, the green ones are see-through.
Cool.
Right.
See-through letters. That's a real treat.
Well, that's the magic because this is a green screen, and I think I can see a bit of green behind me. Just sweeting. How are you? I mean, how are things in? Oh, so first of all, what are you drinking? Let's get that out of the way.
I'm starting off with some tea because it's too late for coffee, so I'm having tea from my wonderful Wales mug.
Was that sent to you, or did you pick that up in Wales?
My grandmother used to live in Wales, and so throughout my childhood, we went to Wales every other summer to spend the summer in rain.
Well, yes.
Yeah, it was actually the sign for arriving in Wales was you cross Severn Bridge and it starts raining. So that was the typical telltale sign that you've arrived in Wales.
I mean, it could have been worse. You could have been in Ireland. I mean, for the rain, because if at least Wales has that land bit of Ireland that stops the wet weather, the moist air coming off the Atlantic. Yeah. And then so that's why it's so wet and so fertile. But so
I remember there was one summer there was particularly ugly weather, and on BBC Wales in the news they said, well, but look at it on the bright side. There's this place in Scotland that didn't have a day without rain for the last year.
Yeah. Scotland has its own challenges.
Yeah.
So how did you find that coming over, visiting every year with lots of Welsh people around? So where were you? Around Cardiff?
South Wales, near Llanelli.
Oh, that's well done.
I love that the Welsh names and places, and also the dialect of the people there. It's really strange. Sometimes it hurts, but it's really great.
They do like their vowels.
Yeah.
So
PWLL.
Yeah, or
stuff like that.
double L as a sound or something. Yeah. Does sound like they're being.
W is a U, so PW double L would be push.
Yeah, but
strange language.
Yeah, well, it's strange if you don't know it. It would be quite normal if you just grew up and everyone spoke Welsh.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, there was a few. I think we mentioned this on a previous call, but the Welsh language was dying out at one point, so they've just they were reintroducing it into schools and teaching people.
Yeah.
It's just one of those. It's just not very. It's great for if you're living in Wales, but not great if you were living anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, all the signs are in Welsh and English, which is great.
Yeah. There's this episode of Blackadder where Blackadder talks to Baldric about Wales and describes the Welsh close harmony singing and says if you ask for directions in Wales, you'll be washing phlegm out of your hair for a month.
Yes.
And and Baldric's reaction is, so being Prince of it is not considered great. I love that.
I don't remember that line. That's great.
Yeah, something along that line.
So I'm just gonna take my. So the watch beeps, so I'm just taking that off. So I mean, how are things in you're in Berlin at the moment, right?
I'm in Berlin, yes.
So how are things in Berlin with the pandemic, and how's it been affecting you guys?
Well, it's somewhat mixed. My daughter is in 4th grade, so 3 weeks ago we got a call that one of the women who serve lunch in school has corona, and therefore the entire school building has to go in quarantine for a week.
Okay.
And then she went back for 2 days, and then we got a call that one of her teachers has corona, and therefore she has to go to quarantine for another 2 weeks. And now we're done with that, and now she's been in school again for 2 days, so I'm expecting the call tomorrow.
But I presume it's okay because you're at home. You haven't been out working.
I've been in home office for the last few weeks. There's been a bit of a spell where I've been to the office after the summer holidays, when school started again. I actually took the time to drive to the office again to meet some colleagues, because we have a challenge at the moment because my wife had a stroke 2 years ago.
Oh.
And she's still in rehab. So I'm alone with my daughter.
Oh, okay.
And that means I don't get to meet during the pandemic. I don't get to meet so many grown-ups.
Yeah.
Or none.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have some real human contact. I mean, kids are fine. They're all right.
Yeah, kids are great, but just to have lunch with someone you can talk to and see someone you can talk to normally about grown-up topics feels good.
Yeah. And I guess you don't have to be so careful. And, you're going to talk in a certain way with your children. But I kind of miss that was partly one of the reasons for doing this kind of thing, is to keep that social contact up.
Yeah.
Talk to real people,
Yeah.
real people. I know you're not really there.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that you're actually in 3 dimensions rather than the 2 that I see you in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I actually miss quite a lot, meeting with colleagues, also visiting customers, which I've been doing at a very reduced level since my wife's stroke, obviously, but still something that's now gone entirely.
Yeah. How is she? Was she partly paralyzed down one side, and
yes,
was it okay?
She's in a wheelchair and she has to learn to walk again and how to deal with things when you only can use one hand and one leg.
Yeah, but is she responding to treatment and the movement is coming back in the other side, or?
Some of it, but some might not.
Oh, okay. Still
have to figure that out.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So that's why the pandemic has been a bit tough. Also not being able to visit her, because of course in the rehab facility they have lots of patients who are very high risk, and so of course they limited all visitations down to nothing.
Okay.
For the first few weeks.
Yeah. So, but you are able to get in and see her, and now
we are, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, once a week we can drive there and see her.
That's still not great.
Yeah, but it's okay.
It's yeah,
We could probably go during the week, but we'd have to go all across Berlin, and that's like in the traffic. It's like 1.5, 2 hours drive.
and there's still a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Berlin is a bit insane with traffic sometimes.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's
Yeah.
why I usually I don't drive by car, but to go there is like 40 kilometers drive from here. So a bit too much for my daughter on the bike.
Well, push bike maybe, but motorbike may be okay.
Yeah, I went there by bike myself a few times, which is great because you get to travel through all these different districts in Berlin. You get to see all these different kinds of these different faces of the city, which I really like.
Yeah, and it's stuff you probably wouldn't normally do, and you're going at a nicer speed to appreciate it when you're on a bike. But yeah, my mother, we had some difficulty with my mother-in-law, and they locked down all the residential homes, so you couldn't get in to see them. But they had some more relaxed things when she went into hospital. But it's
my wife's birthday we spent with my daughter and me standing in front of the place where she's staying and singing to her on the balcony, like serenading. And then we dropped off a cake and some presents and left again.
Yeah, again, it's not fun, but I guess you've got to make the best of what we've got.
Yeah.
And it's the best for everybody. It's really horrible sacrifices. It's not great when you have to make them. Sorry, that I was going to ask about. There's so much we need to talk about, and so right, let's talk about you, Ben. There's a few things I want to hit. You're a new MVP.
Yes,
Hooray!
I was awarded in June.
Okay, so on the they seem to do things six monthly now, don't they? They have, because Johan has got his. They do like an annual review and then like a 6-month catch up.
I think so. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Were you familiar with the MVP program before?
Yes, because many of the people I know here from the data community in Germany are MVPs.
Oh, okay. So, right, this might sound like a terrible question, but who lost their MVP? Sorry, you don't have to answer it.
I don't know. I don't think anyone I know.
No, okay.
Not from Germany, at least.
A few before the MVP program has changed a few times, but before, sort of like maybe 8 years ago or so, maybe even 10 years ago, they weren't giving out very many new ones. I mean, the joke was you had to kill an MVP to take their MVP status.
I didn't kill anyone.
No, okay. I just checking, all right?
I remember that's a fun story. When my grandmother was in her 90s and she had dementia, and so she got into a new nursing home where they took care of her, and they were like, and my sister used to call her, and one day my sister called her, and she was like, "Julia, I think I'm in prison. I don't know what I did. I'm pretty sure I didn't kill anyone, but I am in prison, and you got to help me get out."
Yeah. In hindsight, that seems very funny, but it is quite. It is quite, no. It's quite scary if you're in that situation, especially when you have dementia, because you don't realize where you are, and that's the logical step.
Yeah, but the sentence, "I think I didn't kill anyone." I thought that was.
I think I'm pretty sure I'm a nice. Yeah,
I'm almost certain that I didn't kill anyone, but
I can't be absolutely sure though. That's the key, right? I'm
you
not completely sure. Yeah. When I wake up in the morning, I am I'm pretty 99.9% sure I haven't killed anyone
Yeah.
previous day. But
Me too. Most of the time, me too.
yeah, yeah, most of the time I'm 100% sure, but occasionally. And you presented, or you're presenting at the data. You presented at SQL Bits. Did I get that right?
Yes. Yeah, that was like interesting.
So, was that your first? Did you did the recording, or did you do a live?
I did the recording. The thing was, I didn't submit anything for SQL Bits, and then one day Rob emailed me. Rob Skill.
Oh, no. We don't talk about him because
The bearded guy.
by giving him any publicity, just inflates his ego even more.
But he deserves it all. He deserves it all.
I don't. Well,
I
yeah,
think so.
but
I love that guy. Anyway.
I do wonder how he gets through doors anymore.
With this massive ego. Yeah. No. Anyway, he emailed me and said, "Well, we have open slots and we're missing speakers. Could you fill in on short notice?" I was like, "Sure, I'll fill in, no problem." And great, thanks. By the way, it's going to be pre-recorded and we lead the recording in 2 days.
Okay.
So that was my first recorded session. And I spent the better of a night recording it and editing it and submitted it on time. And I really enjoyed it. And now I hope that one day all of this will be over and I'll be able to actually travel to SQL Bits to do a real session in front of a real audience.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the first time most of the people did a recorded session. And I mean, and everybody struggled. I mean, if you just spent one evening on it, you did really well. I mean, Alex said he recorded bits and there was no sound on half of it. And then had to record the whole thing.
At some point my video was lagging, so you couldn't see my lips moving and stuff like that. But you could see the slides, and that was the important bit in the demos. So
yeah.
Plus, it was a session I'd never done before, so I was a bit unsure how to design that session, so to speak.
Okay.
How to split it up. Today I would do it a bit differently, but never mind. It worked somehow, and it was great to get the chance to do it.
Yeah, and you're presenting at Data Platform Summit.
Yes.
Is that
that one I submitted for?
Okay. Is that the same? Is that the same video, or did you record a new one for them?
I did record an entirely new video.
Okay.
I reorganized the entire session because there were bits where watching your own recorded session is really strange experience. And
but it was really good. I felt so because I did a couple, and there's on the day there's no stress. I just turn up to my session.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Just be in the chat, answer some questions.
Yeah, and if I didn't,
but having to listen to yourself ramble on, it's like, oh damn, I should have done this differently, and oh that transition wasn't good, and oh here the demo, I should have done that differently, and stuff like that.
So I think there's it came out. I mean, we're going completely off topic because there's some stuff. We'll do this for another few more minutes, and then we're going to get back into some other stuff.
There's a topic. What did I miss?
A topic. Yes, of course, there's a topic. Well, the topic is you.
Talking about my experience at Bits.
There was this thing about whether the sessions should be a recording of you doing it in a pseudo live way, so as if you were presenting it live, with minimal edits and minimal fuss. Or you try and do it with lots of edits, sort of a high professional, everything is all perfect. And I liked the first one because I delivered mine and I left little mistakes in.
I didn't get the chance to take them out because I didn't have the time.
Okay. I got told, right, they've got to be delivered on this date. So I did them and delivered them on that date.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one was maybe a few hours later because I didn't quite deliver on time. And then like 2 weeks later, I saw something on Twitter from Simon going, is anyone going to add some extra like sound effects and things into their videos? Yeah, submitted it 2 weeks ago. What do you mean people are still submitting them?
What do you mean editing?
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, I know you didn't get the luxury of, but wait a minute.
One day I'll do a recorded session with explosions and gunfights and stuff as special effects.
I put some special effects into one of them, like some zooms. So because zooming on bits of the screen kind of then works out really nice because you can just add them in later. I don't know how, I use the Mac, so I use iMovie, but I know there's all sorts of other ways to do it. If I was clever, I could do it in line while I'm doing the presentation, but I'm really rubbish at Zoom it.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I know that feeling, yeah.
All right. Right. So when we started the call, I looked behind you, and I think maybe about 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds later, it wasn't a lag in the video. I then went, look at those CDs. I mean, look at that CD
That's
wall.
my collection.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then
I'm really a music nerd.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Have you
actually today I'm missing a band rehearsal of my band to be here and talk with you.
I'm sorry, but B,
that's great. My choice.
But well, so Dirkson's put a comment in, but I don't know whether he's noticed that you've got an Eddie t-shirt on. I was going to mention that.
Of course. The trooper.
Actually, I don't know if Rodney is listening. Do you know Rodney Kidd?
Yeah.
I mean, Rodney Kidd is another musophile. Is that the right term?
Rob told the person, he who shall not be mentioned, told me about him.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
And told me that I have to meet him.
Yes. I'm talking to Mr. Kidd next week, I think. Yes. So
cool.
You can tune in, but yes, that will mostly be about Rodney would just tour after bands. Bands tour, Rodney would then tour with them. Kind of.
Yeah.
It's music obsessive. I mean, to the point of illness. I think. I was when I worked with him, I was really worried about the amount of time he was spending going to gigs.
Yeah, I used to do that while I was still in university. I went to a lot of gigs. Back then, we had an online music magazine, me and my wife and some friends. So we would get free admission to most shows. And so we went to like 50, 60 shows a year. Any band that came anywhere near Berlin and could hold a guitar, we would go and see.
I guess, well, I mean, that just seems perfect, doesn't it? If you can write and, you can get free tickets to get in to see gigs. I mean, I would have to pay to go and see them, but when I was younger, it was relatively cheap to go and see gigs. And even some of the well-known bands. There was a festival in the UK, Reading Festival, and if you were lucky, what would happen is they would do a warm-up gig at some of the places near. So like there was a place called the Old Trout in Windsor. It's not there anymore. The pub's there, but it's not there anymore. So bands like Nirvana and I didn't see, but like Babes in Toyland and other bands used to play there, and that would be the venue to go to.
Cool.
And it was walking distance. It only took like an hour to get there. So if you did miss the last train home, it wasn't the end of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not, now you've mentioned festivals and made me sad. Because actually this year we had a plan to go to Donington.
Oh, okay.
To Monsters of Rock to see Iron Maiden. Download Festival it's called now.
Oh,
Download Festival, yeah.
Yeah, Monsters of
Rock. To see Iron Maiden and Kiss as headliners.
Maiden and Kiss. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and the great thing would have been Iron Maiden would have played on my 40th birthday. So
Oh,
would have celebrated there with a lot of friends and a lot of beer and heard one of my favorite bands.
just that would have been awesome. I mean, it seems. I mean, that they'll do it again though. I mean, it's. I mean, unless somebody dies, Bruce Dickinson dies, or someone
Well,
else, they're going to do it, aren't they?
I've to be honest, I've seen Iron Maiden 18 times now. So
Right.
it's not like I've never seen them before. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess.
But still,
18 is
they
a
have a
lot.
special place. They have a special place for me.
Well,
This
for
is a
18
special band.
times, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a band that I will go and see. I've only seen like maybe 4 or 5 times, and I think that's a lot.
Yeah.
But because they don't always tour. All right. Before we get all bandified out.
Yeah.
You mentioned you had some vinyl, and you showed me some pretty vinyl, and
Yeah.
I've collected some vinyl, and we're going to have a geek out on vinyl, ideally picture vinyl.
I'm
So-
really sorry, Rob. I don't have vinyl from Ailstorm and Nightwish, and I never will.
Oh, you never will.
No.
Oh, he who should not be named has started
Yeah.
putting messages up. So you can't mention
Yeah,
his
vinyl.
name. Where do you want to
I've-
start?
Let me start. Since we've already talked about them with picture vinyl, I've pulled up a single, and that's the Number of the Beast single, the picture vinyl pressing.
Nice.
And I really like that one. So that one has a special a special place over my door here, and that's because it's one of my favorite singles from them. And when I saw this picture vinyl online, I just had to buy it.
I mean, the thing about vinyl. So when I was younger, well, in fact, I'm older than you, so that goes back even further back in time. A vinyl was all quite cheap, but now it's pretty expensive. If you go and try and buy brand new vinyl because it's so little pressing. All right, I'm going to see your picture vinyl and I'm going to raise you. All right, so I don't own all this
shape.
vinyl. This is the Specimen. That's the band name. I think this is my wife's. She doesn't know. And bat shaped vinyl. I've never listened to this. The song is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
And it's from 1983. Go on. What have you got next?
What I've got next is the Berlin local scene kicks in. I have a vinyl by a band called Angst,
Ah,
and this is not picture but color vinyl, so it's a red vinyl with
okay.
like marble
Yeah.
coloring. And Angst, what I like about them, they play a really unique style of extreme metal, and their drummer is a good friend and a colleague of mine, Connor, who I also played with in a band some
Oh,
years ago. And he works in our company now, and he plays the drums in this band. And so, really great Berlin band. If you like metal, this is really great underground band from Berlin.
okay. All right. I'm gonna raise you a. This wasn't what I just happened to stumble across this one. This is a Sisters of Mercy, more. So it's not particularly special, but it is Sisters of Mercy. So that does raise it above pretty much anything else.
Well, except
Yeah, okay, that's pretty good.
AC/DC
Oh, okay.
definitely
Now, I think I've
definitely beats Sisters of Mercy
I
for
think
me.
yeah, I think it's just we can have personal preferences. We can both be right.
No. Yeah, but this is music.
This was so. In fact, so shows you how old this is. This was £8.49 when I bought it,
Cool.
and that is Angel Dust.
Yeah, great.
And it's just got such a good
album.
I mean, it's not the it's not particularly picturesque. I've got some better looking vinyl, but you just don't get the experience of all the lyrics on the back.
Yes,
that,
yes.
You can sing along to. And this was before their legendary country album they were going to release. Actually, no, I think this was going to be their country album. Sorry, they made some jokes that after they did. What's the album that Epic was on? And out of nowhere, was it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they were going to go country.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh look, he who must not be named has said that Sisters is cool. I did see
He's
them.
right. Sisters of Mercy are cool. I've seen them live twice or three times, and each time I saw them, they were a really boring live band. They never really kicked in with me live.
No,
and I've seen AC/DC live three times, and it always burnt down the entire city, and it was amazing. And I was deaf for 3 weeks afterwards, and I couldn't feel my limbs for a month, and everything was just crazy.
But so the thing about going to see Sisters live is for the first 15-20 minutes, I couldn't even see anyone on stage.
Yeah,
because they just pumped the smoke machine on full, and it was like, I mean, he's singing, and they do the stand there. There isn't really, it's not a live.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really bizarre, especially with a band that's quite so old, that you get people dancing, not if you can call it dancing, but the people that are dancing to stuff from like Alice and the early stuff, and then you have people who just know the Vision Thing stuff, and there are people who just go mental at this Corrosion, and then you've got some of the newer stuff that people sort of respond to. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry, is it my turn?
Yeah, because I just pulled out AC/DC.
All right, okay. Let me see if I can find. Okay, I'm going to go really, really bland. Really bland. Joshua Tree. Now,
Okay.
that's like a palate cleanser, isn't it? Can I say it? Am I allowed to say that? All right, okay. All right. So this was one of the, maybe not the first, but certainly one of the. So these were all bought at the time. These aren't historic. So
I've one because we were talking about lyrics in albums.
Oh yeah.
And this is a beautiful double vinyl with all the lyrics in. And this is Blackwater Park by Opeth of Sweden. Also one of my absolute favorite bands. And this album I have 4 copies of. I have the vinyl, I have the jewel case, I have the special edition, and I have the one with the DVD.
All right, okay,
this is actually one of my favorite albums of all times. And so this is also a vinyl that I really like a lot.
All right, where's it gone?
An album that I really like a lot.
So one of my favorites. Let's see if I can find it. You not that one. No, where's it gone? It's a double album. It's a single album, but in a double gated.
Then I can give you one while you're looking.
Yeah.
I can give you a band that was the last vinyl that I got. Yes, Ben has many favorite bands. This one is Proscription. And Proscription was a band that I didn't know before. And I got this because a friend recommended to me. There's these Canadian guys where you can have, like, they call it Metalhead box. And once a month, they send you, depending on the size that you order, 1 or 2 vinyls or CDs and 1 or 2 T-shirts.
Okay.
Of their choice, so stuff you will not know usually.
Okay.
Often Canadian bands, unknown bands, and this is a great way for me to discover new bands. And that was in last month's box for me, and that's a really great album.
Right.
So Proscription, really cool album, cool band, and a cool way to discover new music by
Right.
just getting. It feels like having birthday once a month.
Yeah.
And just getting a present that you open and you're surprised what you get.
Right. This is a so I'm gonna do 2 albums just because I happened to find them. So there was that Black Sabbath, and then the other Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
But obviously, well, that's pretty cool because on the back it's backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool album design. Yeah.
I mean, they are my wife's, so I can't claim credit for that. Where did it go? Right, you might be a bit too young for this.
Yeah, I know that one, of course.
Where's it gone? Oh, okay. So you'll like that one.
Yeah. Oh, great album. Great album.
Where's the good stuff? Where's the white vinyl? I've got a white vinyl, a Pearl Jam white vinyl somewhere.
Yeah, I was looking for my shape vinyls and I didn't find them.
Where did okay, yeah, this is so this is just a coloured vinyl. I don't know whether you can see. This is one of my favourite bands.
Tool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that one is the Prison Sex, which is off probably one of my favourite albums, Undertow. It's just an amazing use of.
But to be honest, the last album I couldn't really warm up to. It had great moments, but there was something missing.
So
the song was missing in between the moments.
Yeah, I haven't really listened to the latest stuff. I did listen to, is it Circle of something? What was the singer and a few other people from other bands?
A Perfect Circle.
Perfect Circle, yeah. I quite like that as well.
Yeah,
But I don't listen to as much stuff as I used to. I think that's probably one of my problems. I kind of make time for vinyl. I feel that, even with CDs, but now with MP3s, you just throw it on.
Well, Spotify has changed a lot of music listening for me. In that, I remember before Spotify, I would go to record stores and just browse through what they had there. I would read magazines to find new releases. I would get new releases mailed to me for my magazine. I would go to the shop and just browse by cover and buy stuff by cover because I say, well, this looks great. Let's just take it home and listen to it. And I don't do that at all anymore. But I discover a lot by on Spotify, like they have this fans also like, and you click fans also like, and you get a recommendation of similar artists. And I found a lot of artists that I actually like through that.
I don't know how they make music anymore, how they design, because it used to be the album was designed in a particular way. So the first track on side A would be a certain thing to get you into the album, and then you'd finish on something good on side B, and then I was finished something good on side A, and then you would do the same thing on the other side, and you would listen to it in order.
I still do that.
Even with digital music.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I never listen to songs. I always listen to albums.
Oh, okay. Right. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong, listening to just songs. But
I pick an album and I listen to that album beginning to end because that's the way it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Well, that also depends largely on the music you listen to, I think. rock music, metal music is, for me, is album music, and it's made in albums, and it's intended to be listened to in albums.
Yeah, yeah. I think that. Yeah, I think a lot of it is. I mean, there obviously will be exceptions, and I think the same thing with some pop music is people will design the albums, but a lot of the time now it's designed for singles because
Yeah.
they'll make more money than the album.
Yeah.
And there's a phrase by a comedian, which is he was listening to everything on Spotify because he didn't deserve to listen to a whole album at a time. He felt so bad that he couldn't. He didn't feel he felt so low that he couldn't even listen to an entire album. He didn't feel he had the right to listen to an album anymore. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you need to dedicate time to listen to an album. I can't just put an album on and listen to. And when I'm in the car driving a long distance, that works really well. But at home, I don't feel I have that kind of dedication.
Yeah, I do it often in the evening when I do light work, like not something that I really need to concentrate on. I have albums. I listen to albums, but then often I put on vinyl because it just feels better to get up every few minutes and change the vinyl, change the side, and
it kind of
listen to the album.
There's a kind of a real attachment to it, or I mean, it's not quite the same, but in the same way that you have an attachment to an instrument, you have the same sort of almost attachment to a record player.
Yeah. There's my instrument. Well, wrong side. No. Again, wrong side. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go. Wait a minute.
It's a bass guitar.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to count the strings.
Yeah. It's my bass guitar.
So is that?
I have an attachment to that.
Yeah. Have you got is it a particular brand of bass? A particular?
Yes. Many years ago, I went to a trade show, a music trade show, an instrument trade show. And there I saw this really small booth of a German manufacturer who builds his basses all by hand and who marketed at the time exclusively to jazz musicians. And I went there and I played one of his instruments. I said, I love this. It just feels right. And he had this new line of instruments that he designed for the American market that were like more the shape of instrument that I liked. So I said, okay, he said he can re-import a limited number of instruments from the States back to Germany to sell them here.
Yeah. And
so I asked him to do that for me. And at the time, he had those instruments in blue, white, and red. I said, okay, out of these colors, I'll pick blue. And he looked at me and said, well, you look like you play metal. I said, yeah, I'm playing metal. He said, you can't play metal with a blue instrument. And he imported a white one and disassembled it and colored it black and reassembled it and sold me the first black instrument of that line. At no extra cost.
That's dedication to his art, isn't it?
Yes, and that was like 12 years ago or something. Before that, I kept buying an instrument here, an instrument there, and try out and sell again. And since I had that instrument, I have never bought another one.
Oh, okay.
Because that one just feels right. That's just the instrument that feels like I should play it.
I mean, that's quite a special feeling to kind of find the right thing with the right action, if that's the right term. Or that was really great. That's a threaded bass rather than a fretless?
Yes. Yeah, well, actually, last year I bought the first instrument since I got those. I bought a fretless bass because I wanted to try playing fretless bass.
So do you play, I mean, I played bass for a couple of months many, many years ago. And the only reason why I learned, because there was one particular song that I wanted to play. I mean, there's two real songs that you want to play bass for. One of them was for Under the Bridge, the bass bit of that.
Yeah.
And the other one was Sabotage by Beastie Boys
Yeah.
because of the bass chords. And because you don't see, I mean, if you're a bass aficionado, then one of my favorite bands, they disbanded and they got back together again, was Ned's Atomic Dustbin, and
Yeah.
they had a lead and they had a bass and a lead bass.
Okay.
Yeah, so but one guy would play, just normal bass.
Yeah.
The other one would generally play much higher up on the frets and play rhythm bass. But
I'll have to listen to that.
Have you not heard of Ned's Atomic Dustbin?
No.
Oh, if you're a fan of bass, you'll listen to it and you'll be going, "Is that Rat's bass? Is that the other guy's bass?" All right.
One of my favorite bass-related records is there was this album SMV, and that was Marcus Miller and Victor Wooten and Stanley Getz, I think. So 3 great funk bass players. And they released this album called Thunder, where you can hear these 3 guys who are actually the best bass players you will get at the time, slapping and playing melody lines and playing rhythm lines, and each like handing over the melody lines, and you hear like the sound changes because the other guy takes over. It's so amazing. No vocals, nothing, just drums, bass, some keyboards and some guitars, but it's bass. It's just an album full of bass.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, and that's like really relaxing. That's music I can really listen to relax, and it's hectic and lots of notes and lots of things happening.
Yeah,
but it's kind of relaxing because there's no vocals and not many guitars, so it's all like in a flow. It has a certain flow to it, and so you can just listen to that, and it just flows, and you can grooves and keeps you going.
Well, send me the name of that, and we'll put. Well, and I'll listen to it, but I'll also put it into the kind of the description for the YouTube stuff, just so people can, if they're interested, they can get into it. We are. I mean, it's 9:00, so we're starting to eat up time. I know that's one of the downsides of this thing is we could keep talking all night, and there's still more vinyl to get through. But on a serious note, what's your favorite cheese?
I thought about this quite a lot, and this question has 2 answers for me.
What do people think about? Okay,
Yeah.
go. All right,
Well,
go.
But the first answer is my parents found this farm in Italy that sells their homemade pecorino, and you get a full loaf of this Italian hard cheese pecorino, and it's so delicious. It's probably the best I ever got. You can get like a big slice of pecorino and just eat it, and it's delicious. It's probably the best you'll ever get.
Is that
And
just on its own, or do you eat it with something?
most of the time I eat it on its own because it's so delicious.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, if you're in lockdown, in quarantine, or if my daughter's in quarantine, you can't go away, you start weird hobbies. So I started this last autumn. I inherited 2 smoker grills from a friend who had to move out and who couldn't take his smoker grills with him, and he asked me, "Will you take care of them? Will you take care of my babies while I'm gone?" I say, "Yeah, okay, I'll take them." And so I started smoking stuff, and today I actually finished smoked loin.
Okay.
Really delicious. And so the second answer would be any cheese that I can smoke. And I've made a smoked cheddar.
Oh,
which
okay.
was in beach smoke for a day, which is quite delicious.
I mean, it's almost like you planned this.
Yeah, almost. And the second thing that I got out of the smoker grill today is a smoked mozzarella that has been in the smoke for like 2 days, and you can see like the border here where it's a bit darker, where it's absorbed the smoke, the smoky aroma into the cheese.
So that's your new
anything
hobby?
that I can smoke would be the second question, second answer.
Shove everything into the smoker. That's
not everything. The neighbor's cat is safe, but
the neighbors. Yes, yeah. You probably want to deep fry the cat first.
At the moment, I have chilies in there.
Okay.
Peppers, to make like hot smoked chili powder.
So you've taken the seeds out, or do you leave them whole and then?
I leave them in. I cut them in half so they absorb more of the smoke aroma. Then I smoke them for 3 days. Then I dry them. Then I grind them.
Okay. How do you dry? I mean, we're going off topic. How do you dry them? Do you just dry them in the oven, or do you dry them?
I have like I don't know the English word, automat. That's like it blows hot air from below and dries whatever you put above
Okay,
it.
It's a specific device for drying food and desiccating food.
I made beef jerky on that.
Okay.
The other day.
So
I like experimenting with that stuff.
Well, yeah, and I guess if we're in lockdown, we're not going anywhere trying anything new or fancy. So why not?
At some point, I'll be rolling out here because I've eaten all this stuff. But I try to send out some to some friends every now and then. Every time I finish something, I pack some up and send it to some friends.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Make sure everybody profits from my deeds.
Yes, your borrowed or your illicit gains from your smoker.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 more questions. One is because you were nominated. So one who he who shall not be named nominated you. And so your job then to nominate someone else, and we can do that online or offline. And while you think about that, you get an emergency question from Richard Herring's emergency question book.
Yep.
Are you familiar with Richard Herring?
Since I watched a few episodes, I am.
Oh, okay, all right.
With the book.
Okay.
And I bought it myself because I thought this was great. I didn't read it yet. It still sits unopened in the living room.
Okay, all right.
But I thought it was a great idea, so I got it.
I didn't know if you were going to Rob Farley me, because Rob Farley found like a PDF version of the first couple of pages and then picked a question off there.
Yeah.
Why are Rob Farley?
No, I haven't prepared. Because I thought, well, element of surprise.
Is that tuna jerky? Awesome.
Yeah, it's a tuna jerky as well. Yeah.
All right, so that's enough. Pick a number.
Dirk is one of the people profiting.
I see.
My experiments.
So pick a number.
So he's still hoping for me to ship some of this week.
Oh, I see. Okay. And I presume you're charging for postage and packing.
No, but he and Frank gave me a advent calendar with beer.
Okay.
So fair enough.
Yeah. So pick a number between 1 and 1001. If it's rude, we move on to the next one, or we pick another number.
461.
Any reason why 461?
No, just felt like it.
Okay.
It's going to be rude.
Okay, this doesn't really make... I don't know who one of these people are, but...
Then I probably won't know either.
No, Wilkie Collins. But the question is, if you had to eradicate Cadbury's mini eggs, which are sweets, or all the novels by Wilkie Collins, which one would you obliterate from history?
Would it be obliterating by eating? Then I would choose Cadbury.
No. They were gone. You wouldn't be able to have any more.
Then, of course, the novels of the guy I've never heard of. That's fairly easy.
All right, let's pick another one.
Yeah. 7:32.
7:32. All right. Okay, I'm not sure where this will go. Knees and elbows seem flawed. What do you find most annoying about them, and how would you improve them? So what don't you like about knees and elbows, and how would you improve them?
Actually, I find them quite useful when moving and stuff. So
Yeah, I'm not keen on that premise. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Have you ever
Did you find a better one?
Have you ever been followed home by an animal?
No, but the other day I saw a fox right outside of my house.
Do you
A
live
huge fox.
Do you live in the city area, or do you live out?
No, I live at the southern end of Berlin.
Okay.
So right next to the new finished airport.
That's convenient for work.
Yeah, well, they made this really. I think it was a really great idea to like, we have lockdown and ban on traveling and everything. Let's finish the airport now. Nobody will notice if it's really done.
Well, it's a great way of getting all the building work done and everything done without people being around. And yeah, as long as it gets tested properly. I know that when they opened up I can't remember, it was Terminal 4 or Terminal 5 at Heathrow, there were all sorts of problems with baggage going in the wrong places. And
yeah, but that's why it was so brilliant to open it up now.
Yes. And
because
then,
by the time it gets under stress again, everybody will have forgotten that it wasn't open.
Okay. Ooh.
So no, never followed by an animal, but seen a fox.
All right. I like this question. I mean, there are other questions that he has that I like more, but have you ever smited a foe? It's such a great question. Okay, all right.
Well, that will first need to define, do I have a foe?
Everyone's got an arch enemy. I mean, you haven't lived if you haven't got an arch. We've all got enemies. You need an arch enemy.
I do.
Everybody has to have an arch enemy. I mean, you haven't lived unless you've.
I'll have to think about that and give it the answer the next time we speak, because I first have to figure out who a foe would be and then whether I've smited them.
He who should not be named said. So there's a bit of a delay with us going out. So he's caught up on the. He said anything is better than the old Berlin airport.
Actually, I liked Tegel Airport. I don't know whether he's talking about Tegel or Schönefeld, but actually Tegel I quite liked. But yeah, it's not a great. Well, airport-wise, Berlin has room for improvement.
I don't know if I've been to Berlin Airport. Frankfurt.
But since I hardly ever fly, I try to do everything by train if possible.
So if you were going to, I don't know, let's pick somewhere outside Germany, Switzerland, or you were going to Spain for a customer.
Spain, I would do by plane, of course.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure whether
Austria I've already done by train.
Okay, that's just south though, isn't it? It's quite far.
Yeah, I did it with a stopover in Munich to visit Microsoft headquarters in Munich. And then Tegel, he's talking about Tegel. I actually thought Tegel was quite nice.
Yeah, maybe Rob's got no taste. Maybe that's what it is.
No. I understand why people don't like it, but I actually liked it. Because you had the possibility to take your taxi right to the gate and then just walk like 5 meters and go through security and be in your plane. And I really like that.
So have you flown out of there a lot?
Over the years, yes.
Yeah. I find that you sort of become quite attached to certain airports because you know where everything is. Because you know when you've got through the gate, oh well, I know where that Starbucks is, and it's right next to the toilet. And then if I need to get to gate 83, I have to get on this train to get or whatever.
Yeah, it's nice if it works that way.
Yeah. So there's an airport in the UK called Stansted, which isn't a great airport, but I much prefer it over the top of Luton, but I'd only been to. It was like a big shed, but then I mean, to be fair, they're all big sheds. It just was really, I don't know, the experience was awful. But if I went there all the time, I would probably just get used to it and go, oh, this is quite normal.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's time to go. I've taken up more of your evening than I thought I was going to.
That's fine. I enjoyed it a lot.
We didn't even get onto the Mercine Primes or your book, Docker for Dummies, or what else did I have written down? All sorts of other stuff.
I have a question. Should I ask the people I nominate to go next, or shall I just nominate them and have them get mad at me for nominating them?
It's always better to ask for forgiveness and permission. So just what you can just do is just introduce us over Twitter.
Can I nominate a dynamic duo?
Yeah, of course you can.
Because then I would like to nominate Dirk and Frank.
As long as they would be happy to come on.
Well, the good thing about nominating a duo is now they can put pressure on each other, so none of them can check it out.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. Well, there is that pressure, and now you've done it online. I mean, they would just feel terrible of letting me
Dirk
down.
is in the chat, and Dirk has just left the chat.
Oh. I mean, they'd be letting you down. They'd be letting
you down.
Me down.
Rob would be terribly disappointed.
He who should not be named would be let down. And most of all, they'd let themselves down.
Yeah, I think that's a great close.
Yes.
Close
all right. I think I've got Dirk's details. I'm not sure if I've got Frank's, but I can if you just pass them on.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time. It's been fun.
Thank you for having me.
There's just so much more we could have, we could have done. There's so many. I mean, we didn't even get onto. What's that one? I did buy this one.
Mine are too far away. I can't reach them.
This is Human by the Human League. I didn't.
Yeah, great album.
Sorry, I like it because it's so terrible. Not that it's terrible. It's just it's kind of it's not what everyone would have. Actually, I think this one's a white vinyl. That's another one.
Oh yeah.
That was pearl. It 199 reduced. I just haven't. Yeah. All right. Time to go. Sorry, we're going to start again. My fault. Okay. Thank you for your time. It's been great. And thank you for watching. All right. Take care.